That means.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Oh, hello.
hello?
Sorry, we're not used to this.
It's okay. I'm gonna mute you though, just because when we get a lot of people on here, it's going to be confusing. Was there any confusion about the link?
No.
Okay. So this was the link that was like texted to you?
I don't think so. I think there was something else, and then you register, and then you got a link and a password.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because somebody said there was two, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right one. There should be like 40 some people getting on, so. I believe. Texting.
Hi, Miss Coleman.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm home.
Aren't we all?
I'm home in my office where I'm living.
Yeah. Look, she has waffles like us. See, look, she's really just like us. Did you have to pre-confirm, because there were some people on our team that were trying to get it, and it was saying there were no more in there.
Okay. I'll text Ashley and see if she got in.
I'm trying this new thing, like, you know, the yoga ball thing they tell you to sit on? I'm going for the next 3 weeks.
We had a question. Did you have to confirm this? Like, we confirmed that you sent us an email to the link.
I
Did you
just
have to do that to get in?
No, I just sent out another email if like you have anybody else interested. I just sent out an email with the information, and you know what? I'm gonna put it on my Facebook page too.
Yeah,
Just-
because there were some people from my daughter's team that were saying it was saying like no more courses in March or something, and they couldn't really get in. So I wasn't sure if you had to actually get the email to get access to it.
No, if you look on your email now, you should have some information that you can forward
Right.
to them, and I'll put it on my Facebook page right now.
All right, I'll forward it now. Yep. Can you put that on the group me? Say that she's putting it on her Facebook page, right? And you should be able to link to it from there. Rachel Coleman Sports, right?
Yes.
Yes, there's the Facebook.
Where are you going? I'm sorry. Want to come? Wax, no. If you're alone, you're sitting in here. Come on, come get the mic.
All right, it should be up.
You're an idiot.
This is 1 hour. 1
Yeah.
hour. Okay, so you want to go to the field at like 2:30?
Sure.
At 2:30, the field, be there.
I can't drive.
You can walk.
Oh, okay.
This
You. If anybody has anybody else that wants to join, you can go on my Facebook page and the link is on there, or you can share it with them. Let's see. Oh, let's turn that off too. See if we can get the emails to stop. Hi, Abby. Hi, Abby.
Hi, Coach Rachel.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. For
Oh,
everybody,
there you
I'm here. For everybody on here, I have Abby joining us. She is a 2021 who went through the recruiting process with us. So if you have any questions for Abby as we go along, feel free to ask her.
That's how you do it. Sorry, I couldn't figure out the video. That's how you do the video. Okay.
You figured it out. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. It took me way too long.
Are you guys staying in Florida?
Yeah, it's actually really nice now. It's like 80-some degrees, and I'm really loving it.
Good for you. Are you guys staying for like the duration?
Yeah, we were supposed to leave today actually to go to the beaches, but all the beaches were closed. So now we're staying the rest of the week at my grandparents' house and probably another week because don't really want to go back to the US. Yeah. So yeah, good. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
On your feed? Oh, my mom said that Pat Conlon liked the video on my own feed.
I'm
the golf
sure
ball
she
thing.
did. Did you see all of the workouts she's posting?
I have not seen them.
So
Yeah, where's
just
she posting them?
yeah, she's posting them on Instagram on her story.
Oh, okay.
So just be aware that your coach is posting them on their story. So if you
Okay.
can see some of them and interact in that way, that would be probably helpful.
Okay.
But it's illegal for them to send it to the kids, but if they post it for the public, it's no longer illegal.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll look at those then.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Okay.
I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes. Everybody, this is Abby. She went through the recruiting process with me at softballrecruiting.com. So you guys have any questions, she's here to answer them because she's been through it. So she's in your shoes a couple months ago.
Yep.
And I have lists of questions, Abby, that people have asked. So I'm gonna
Sounds good.
put you on the spot.
No worries. Sounds good.
We're gonna wait a couple more minutes because I know some people. I think we're supposed to have
Why
about.
don't you ask her? Oh, God forbid that we talk now. See, and this is why I have to be here.
Who is that?
Who-
No. Yes, parents and players are welcome. It's not just one or the other. So I know everybody starts out muted, so you have to learn how to unmute yourself if you have questions as we go. Okay, so learn how to unmute yourself, or you can start with the chat. I'll make sure I have the chat up. I believe it pops up. On the side. Oh, look at you.
I know. I had to put my Georgetown shirt on.
Yes.
Oh, because she's going.
There we go.
Hi, girls.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Are you guys learning all this new technology stuff?
Yes.
All right, so what we learned from our talk yesterday with the coaches is if we stay muted, then everybody can kind of hear what's going on. When you ask questions, learn how to unmute yourself and then mute yourself again. This just made it easier for everybody to hear everything that was going on. But I just want to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Rachel Coleman. Thank you for joining us for this free recruiting seminar. I'm super excited that you guys are here. And, you know, I'm here to provide you with the information during this uncertain time and kind of what's going on in the recruiting world. My background is I was a Division I coach for 5 years. I was at Kennesaw State down in Georgia as a volunteer assistant. I was at the University of Tennessee. So I was at the University of Tennessee as a GA and went to the World Series with them in 15. And then I was at the University of Delaware as an assistant for 2 years as well. So I do everything from the coach's standpoint, the college coach's standpoint, and all of the information that I give is from a college coach's perspective. What do the college coaches want? Because ultimately in this recruiting process, it's not about, you know, what we're, you know, just providing them with. We want to provide them with the correct information at the right time that they want it. So again, my goal is just to educate you guys on the process. It's what I do at softballrecruiting.com. It's just educate people around the country. And even, I know I have some people from Canada and Mexico that are joining us as well. So thanks for joining. To get started, I know everything is crazy with the coronavirus and, you know, everybody's at home right now. And I had a lot of questions, and thank you for your questions. This way it kind of guided me in where I was going, because I'm sure you're not the only one in this boat. But a lot of questions are we too late to the process if we're a 22 or a 23 and have not started with this coronavirus? Because September 1 is coming, right? So I know 21s, you're in a different boat, but for my 22s and 23s, right now, obviously we need to be starting the recruiting process. If you have not started already, you're not too late if you have not started already. I know I had some questions also regarding, you know, what if we don't play high school or summer ball? What does that mean? And I'm a 22, September 1 comes along and college coaches weren't able to come out and see me. You can still go through this recruiting process and still be successful in the recruiting process in getting those phone calls September 1, those emails September 1. If you go through the process the right way and are contacting and building the relationship with the college coaches. That's what this is all about, is building the relationship with the college coaches and providing them with the information that they want and need in the format they want. I know in my last one, with the coaches, they were asking about the NSR, the NCSA. You guys have so many platforms to get information about the recruiting process. And I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. I do not believe in the NSR, the NCSA, or any of those platforms that provide you with recruiting information or do the process for you. When I was a college coach and I was at Delaware, when I got emails from student athletes and parents and families, if I was getting them from the NSR and the NCSA, it would go right to the trash. I never opened it because, again, the girls were not doing the process. If the emails were coming from the parents, or, you know, it's a freshman and I got this big, long, elaborate email with everything that's perfect, it's probably not coming from the player. So those emails would go directly to the trash. So again, the NSR, the NCSA, they're doing the process for you. I get that. But as a college coach, I want kids that are going to come in and do the work. If you're going to, you know, hire somebody out to come do the process for you as a family, how are you going to react when you do get to college? And, you know, you are you going to do the work, or you want to just, you know, get a quick fix? So again, I do not believe in them. I believe in, you know, just educating people in the process. And Abby, do you have anything to add to that? Because, okay, so everybody who just joined, Abby's here. She went through the process with me on softballrecruiting.com. And she went step by step, and I just educated her on what to do. She is committed to Georgetown. Congratulations, Abby. She's a 2021. But yeah, so Abby, I mean, how was the process for you with just the education that was given to you?
Yeah, I mean, softballrecruiting.com was definitely really, really helpful in giving a lot of information that I didn't really have, because it's kind of hard to like find out what the college coaches want. But Rachel's perspective on it was really, really helpful, because her being a college coach and having that experience really gave insight into like how strong the relationships needed to be built. And like, I feel like that was the thing that really helped me connect with a lot of coaches and actually get my scholarship, was being able to build the relationships with the schools. Because you have to show it's like not just one-sided. Like, you have to show as much interest in them as you want to get out of them, like as you want them to show in you. But it's definitely like the whole process is definitely reliant upon how much you're willing to put an effort into showing your dedication to both the sport and to getting to the program that you really want to get into.
Yeah, and Abby came from a higher program, and you know, where they didn't break down the process step by step. And that's my ultimate goal, is to make it easy for you and your family step by step, from creating your target list of schools, which we'll get into all of this, to creating your first email, your videos, camps, clinics, and why all of this is important, to then going to camps and clinics. Because, you know, I know I got some questions about camps and clinics and are they worth it? I believe camps and clinics are only worth it if you're building the relationship with the college coach before you get there. Because the college coaches should know you by name before you step on campus for that camp or clinic. If you just step on campus and think that they're going to recognize you, that's not how it works. They're going to first go to those kids who have already built that relationship over time. And right now, since we have so much time on our hands, there's no sports on TV. The college coaches aren't playing and worried about their kids. They're worried about them at home right now, but they're not worried about, wins and losses right now. They're not worried about sports on TV. They're uber focused on this recruiting process right now. So it's an amazing time for y'all to start, because I know a lot of you aren't in school. And if you are still in school, I know they're starting to shut everything down. You have tons of time to start this process, because it is a long process and it does take a long time to do, but I promise you it'll be worth it. All right. So Hampton Clinic's worth it with that. Okay, so let's start with just starting the process, Abby. Okay, so we're just gonna start the process with you guys. So the first thing we start with is that target list of schools. Okay, so we're going to start with, what should your target list of schools look like? And I always suggest having 30 schools on that list. Why do we want 30 schools on that list, Abby?
So then you have a wider range of schools that you get interest from and you're interested in, and so that way you have a greater chance of actually going to play at a program that you are really excited about. So if you have a wide range of schools, it's a lot easier to have an opportunity to play for them.
Yeah, so think about this. If a lot of you, you have 5 schools on your list or 10 schools on your list, you might have 1 or 2 that have interest back. If we throw out a net to 30 schools, we're now getting interest back from 4 or 5 schools. Now you have options. And what we do is we play on those options once you get interest from schools. And the more interest we get, the more interest other people get, because they feel like they're missing out on something. So I know Abby had a school that was interested in her. We're not going to name it. And she had a lot of interest from this school, and they were going to offer her a scholarship, but she really was not thrilled about this school. But what we did was I made her go on the official visit. I made her go, do the whole overnight thing, and they offered her a scholarship. Okay, so she doesn't have a ton of interest, but now this school offers Abby a scholarship. What she does is she then communicates with all of the other schools that she has interest in, and now all the other schools are giving her scholarships because they feel like they're missing out on something. So again, if a school is interested in you, you're always interested back, right? And what we're doing is the wider net we throw out, the more we're going to get back. So again, if a school tells your coach or somebody that they're interested in you, you're always interested back. And you always need to treat them the same as if you're in love with them, because trust me, they know. And then what we do is we use this information in the right way to provide the other schools with what's going on. So that way, if they are seriously interested in you, they start throwing offers into the mix. Make sense, Abby?
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So target list. Now, the target list is super important, because if you don't have schools that fit you softball-wise, so if you can't go play and step on campus right now, then they're not going to have interest back in you. So you need somebody to evaluate your skills that's going to be completely and 100% honest with you. I know when Abby had me do an evaluation on her, I was super honest with her. She said, these are the schools that I'm interested in. I said, you have work to do. If you want to go to these schools, and she did. And but we also had some lower tier schools on there to ensure that she was going to get phone calls September 1. So again, your list needs to be a wide range, and I break all that down in softballrecruiting.com. But again, 30 schools, and it needs to be a wide range, but they need to be in your wheelhouse playing wise. Okay. Also, I get into, it should be, where do you want to be in the country? What do you want to study? What's important to you and your family? Is academics important? Is softball important? I have kids that want to go to high academic schools, and they're not going to look at a lower academic school. And I have kids that want to play the best softball possible, and they could care less about the academics. So again, what is important to you and your family? Can you be 10 hours from home and have to get on an airplane, or do you need to be 2 hours from home? Big school, small school, city school. So really break down what you want in a campus, and then this will in turn help you decide what schools need to be on your list. And then have somebody poke holes in it. So if you say, you want to be 5 hours from home and high academics, if you have, a Chattanooga on your list and you want high academics, I probably would ask why, because they're not a very high academic school. They're a very good softball school. So again, make sure you have somebody poking holes in your list. Emails. So how often do you want to email coaches, Abby?
I probably And this time, probably like once a week, maybe once every other week, just so you can keep them updated, and not like huge emails, but like kind of small emails, both about yourself and like your interest in the school. I like wishing everyone safety during this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I have in the starter pack. So if you go to softballrecruiting.com and you go to the starter pack, I break down exactly how your email should be in order to get opened and in order to get that look, because a lot of times the college coaches, right now they're getting 300-400 emails a day. I would open the video before I read the email. So your video is crucial, which we'll get to next. But your email is super important, especially that first email that you send. So again, I break it down with, it's got to have everything about you first. Hi, my name is Rachel Coleman. I'm a 2022 pitcher from Pennsville, New Jersey, and I play for EC Bullets Coleman. So all the information about you, something specific about the school academic-wise, and then something specific about the softball program. So, and I have a list of exactly what should be in your signature, exactly what should be in your schedule, why they can search it, you know, how they can have the thread of emails. So again, I have everything in the starter pack at softballrecruiting.com of exactly how to break this down step by step and make it super easy for you and your family to follow this and be successful in this process. And not only that, but then I then transfer kids from the starter pack to the month to month. So right now, my month to month, every week, I'm giving the kids exactly what they should be emailing every single week to the college coaches in order to be successful. So when this whole coronavirus thing came out and the girls who had already started the process and everybody who was on softballrecruiting.com, as soon as the Ivy League announced that they were canceling softball for the entire spring, I had sent out a message to everybody on softballrecruiting.com. And what I did was I told them, hey, you need to email the coaches right now showing that you're staying up to date, you're showing interest, and you're investing in their school and what's going on, and say you're sorry for what's going on and, you know, hope they stay safe. So that email was sent out by the kids on softballrecruiting.com right away. So again, if I'm a college coach and I'm getting this email as soon as this is coming out, this kid's interested in my school. She's showing that she's staying on top of it. Then after everything had settled down that next Monday and all of the kids were off campus, everybody on softballrecruiting.com was instructed 2 days before to come up with a plan of exactly what they were doing during this time of, you know, at home, what they're doing academic wise, what they're doing softball wise, what they're doing SAT, ACT wise. So they were to come up with a plan and email that out as that Monday when everybody was off campus. So now the college coaches shifted to, okay, we're now in recruiting mode and I'm getting phone calls and I'm asking these coaches, what do you want right now? What do you need right now from these kids? And then I'm giving it to everybody on softballrecruiting.com and I'm allowing them to give them, the college coaches, what they want when they want it, right? So that's the ultimate goal, is giving the college coaches what they want when they want it. And I see some faces and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And I promise I break it down for everybody. And also it's not as big as scary. And the biggest part of the process right now is definitely the starting, right, Abby? As soon as you get through the starter pack and starting, it becomes way easier, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just getting that initial like contact and that initial like relationship. It's smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of, so the initial contact is definitely, you know, tedious. But then once you get past that initial contact, it definitely becomes easier for everybody. Videos. So what does your video need to look like, Abby? You've done a million of them.
I've done a million of them. I never really used like a fancy video thing. A lot of the videos, you kind of just use like whatever footage that you have, whether it be from like an iPhone camera. I use Facebook Live a lot because that's what my team did. And I feel like that was just really helpful. They shouldn't be like really, really long because no one has like that much time. Usually about like a minute or less. Yeah, that's all I really have for those.
Yeah, and what they should be is short, sweet, to the point. And it should say wow. So if the video doesn't say wow, it's probably just going to get tossed to the side. So a video is going to do one of two things. Video is going to get you on the list to come see, or video is going to get you taken off the list. And they're going to watch the video before they even read the email. So your video has to say wow. And if you're unsure, send it to a coach. Have somebody who knows what college coaches are looking for. Have them evaluate your video before you send it. I have a kid, a private client I'm working with. She's a 21 pitcher, and she showed me the video she was sending, and she said she was getting nothing back, right? So then we did a video, and now I think she's talking with 5 schools. It was literally the difference in the video and what she was sending out to the schools. So again, your video has to say wow. And if anybody has any questions on video, wants me to evaluate, I do private sessions with clients, and right now everything's 75% off because everybody's home and everybody has a ton of time. And I am doing a video analysis and helping people with their target lists and everything right now, if you're interested. But again, it was literally the difference in her video. Now she has 5 schools that she's not only talking to email-wise, she's talking on the phone with them, right? So she's building that relationship even further to get the scholarship. And once you start talking on the phone with 5 schools, as soon as one puts an offer in, that's when it all kind of domino effects and you start getting more offers. Video, social media. Oh gosh. All right, Abby. I'm deferring. Go ahead.
Okay. Social media, like, I guess a good rule would kind of be like, if your grandma wouldn't see it, then like you probably shouldn't want to post it. Like, college coaches, I don't know how they do it, but I know they do it. They can see like all your Finstas, your like Snapchat stories, your like private Snapchat stories. So definitely be like really cautious of what you're putting on there. That's not to say like don't post anything, because like Twitter is a great place to show like what you're doing outside of softball as well as like what you're doing with softball. So social media isn't like a horrible thing. You just kind of have to be aware of like what you're posting and like what your intent is to post it. Like if you want to post a picture of you like helping like a softball clinic or something like that, just to show like you're involved in your community, that's definitely going to benefit you. But if you're just like posting a picture of you, like especially at this time, like outside, like at a beach or something, that's probably not the best idea, because you should be inside and quarantining yourself, which I am, even that's nice out. But yeah, so you definitely want to be mindful of what you're posting, but that's also not to say like don't post anything, because you have to show them your life.
Yeah, so it becomes your marketing platform. So social media becomes your marketing. Who are you as a person? And this has helped building the relationship with the college coaches, because once they see that video, they read the email, they get interest, and you're emailing every week, they know you by name. Now we transfer into the social media, and they want to know who you are and who your friends are. What are your parents posting? What are your coaches posting? So it really becomes who you are. So I had a kid who was doing a favor for somebody. She was a 21, and I knew the coach as well. She's friends with a ton of kids on my team, and she was going back and forth with a college coach, but she didn't get an offer yet. And she wanted to know why, so I called the coach, know her well, and she said, hey, we were going to offer this kid. We were ready to offer her, and we found a TikTok of her with curse words. So it wasn't on her page. It was on a friend's page. And she was in a TikTok, and there were curse words, and they just didn't believe in that culturally as a team. So she did not get the offer because of it. So what I always tell kids and parents and families, only post things or only send things on Snapchat that you're okay losing a scholarship over. So if you're okay with losing a scholarship over a bikini picture selfie, then okay, leave it up there. But if you're not okay with that, take it down. There's definitely a balance between softball. I always tell kids, post friends, family, softball. So you should have something of your family up there. You should have, your friends on there. Also, who's tagging you in posts and what are they posting? Because who you surround yourself with ultimately becomes who you are. So again, you need to really be careful with your social media accounts. They have ways to find your private Snapchat. If you have posted things that you are not proud of, delete the account, start over. You girls are not like every other student athlete. You girls are special. You are not regular high schoolers. You need to be, above the line and do things above the line, because it's not worth losing a scholarship over. And parents that are listening, make sure you're checking your accounts too. If you're posting a bunch of negative things on there, then they're probably not going to recruit your kid, because if you're posting negative things, what are you going to do when your kid isn't playing? Are you going to go to the athletic director, say negative things, and get the coaches fired, right? So make sure you're posting everything positive, upbeat. I also just suggest that my kids, and they do a really good job of this, of post things about your teammates' success, because this shows that you're a great teammate as well. So anything I'm missing, Abby?
Well, not really. I think you kind of hit it off. Just like, yeah. Thank you.
I'm a big social media person. I really think it can help or hurt you. I want to move on to academics real quick because this is huge and super important when it comes to scholarships. So not all Division I's are fully funded with 12 scholarships. And I'm just going to flat out tell you that most position players get anywhere between 20 to 40% money for athletics. So that's most position players. That's not saying that some don't get full rides, who's a stud shortstop, stud catcher, but most position players get between 20 to 40%. And a lot of that other money comes from academics. So if you have really high academics and really high SAT, ACT scores, what that can do for you is open up doors financially. I know schools, some Division I schools, that can offer $30,000 off the top just by having good grades and good SAT, ACT scores. And, you know, so one in particular up north only has 6 scholarships they can give away athletically, but they give away $30,000 off the top. I know one down in Maryland that only has 4 scholarships, but they can give $25,000 to $30,000 off the top just by having good academics. And so they only recruit academic kids. So again, the higher your academics, not only the more scholarship money you can get, but it also opens the doors to more schools. So what I tell my kids, and for the 23s and 22s listening, 21s, if you're listening, make sure you take your SAT and ACT scores. Yes, 23s, take your SAT and ACTs this year. So this spring, if you can. 22s, you need to be taking them if you haven't taken them already as soon as they're available. And this does not count for PSATs. PSATs do not count. So say it's between you and another player on September 1. Okay, so for all my 22s, this is realistic right now. It's between you and another player for September 1, and everything is the same, skill-wise, family, you know, great people, you have similar grades, but one kid already has the SAT, ACT to get in, and you haven't taken it yet. You are now behind, and you can lose a scholarship opportunity because you haven't taken and gotten that score yet. And Abby, how many times have you seen it, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, hot.
And I can tell you, Abby's parents gave me pushback. They thought I was crazy when I said, you need to take it before September 1 and have the scores, right? And they did. Your family, your parents, because she's a high academic kid. So they gave me pushback, but they saw over time what it could do for them and their family. She started taking it every time it was available. So again, I don't care what you get if you're a freshman in high school. If you're a sophomore in high school, start studying now. Do the Khan Academy right now. Right? You could be studying for the SAT, ACT right now, and it could put you ahead and get you a scholarship over somebody else, right? Because my whole goal is not only to give the college coaches what they want and need when they need it, but also to put you ahead and be ready for every single situation that could come up. So again, here's another situation. So you only take the SAT because you're committed, and that's the only thing your college needs. I had a kid that wanted to transfer after she went to a JUCO, and she wanted to transfer. Duke had serious interest in this kid. This kid was a stud, right? So she went to a JUCO. Duke wants her. She cannot go to Duke because she did not take the ACT in high school. She can't go back and redo it. So this is why I tell kids, take both SAT and ACT. They're both important. Because if you want to transfer, if your coach leaves, if you get into a bad situation and you just want to leave, you're going to close out some of those opportunities if you don't do things the proper way right now. Right, Abby?
Yeah, definitely.
Take both. And you don't know which one you're going to score higher on.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much the process that I wanted to go over. I did have a couple of more questions from people that I wrote down that were similar. And one was not getting emails back from college coaches. So if you are a 22 or a 23 and you're not getting emails back from college coaches, don't worry. Don't worry, because they're not allowed to email you back. So for my 22s and 23s, they're not allowed to email you back. Some walk that gray line and do email back about camps or clinics, or they'll pick up the phone and call the coaches. I'll call your coaches. But again, don't be afraid if they're not emailing you back. For my 21s, all right, my 21s, I know this question is very eager for all of you. If they're not emailing you back, there's a reason why. Is it your video? Are you asking a question in your email to prompt them to email you back? So the 21 that I'm working with, I have her, asking those questions. This way she does get emails back, And I love when coaches say, hey, sorry, we're done recruiting pitchers in the 21 class. Awesome. Cross them off your list, add somebody else, right? How many times, Abby, did I tell you, hey, this school's not interested. Hey, this school says no, right?
Yeah, definitely a lot.
It was a lot, but did it help you in the long run? Because it was like, okay, now I can focus on another school or add a school to your list.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it definitely made it easier because then my school list went from like 30 plus schools to like 10 schools that like I knew were interested in me and like I was really interested in them. So it definitely helps like narrow down the list and like figure out like what you really want.
Yeah, and you don't want to go to a school that's not in love with you, right?
That
Like,
too.
yeah, like Abby's had, a bunch of scholarship opportunities and just was in a great position academically and playing wise. She worked her butt off for all of that. But again, she followed the process. And there is heartbreak in it. I have a 22 right now who's an amazing player, and she was interested in Kentucky. And I went right up to Rachel Lawson and I asked her, I said, hey, I have this person that here's the position she plays. And Rachel goes, I'm not recruiting a catcher in the 22 class. I'm not. So I had to go up to that kid and tell her, hey, Rachel's not recruiting a catcher in the 22 class. And she was heartbroken. But in the end, oh, here's the chat. But in the end, she's now focused on other schools and not wasting her time and going to that camp when she could be going to another camp. Okay, so questions. I'm getting questions now on the side. Can you ask in an email if school's still recruiting your class for your position? You can, but I don't suggest it because then it looks like you're just looking for money or whatnot. What I have them ask is actually, hey, can we set up a phone call? Because they're only going to set up a phone call if they're interested because they're not going to waste their time. So I have them ask, can we set up a phone call? And there's certain ways to do that, depending on, again, position, video, everything else. Because each person's kind of unique and different. So that's why I do some one-on-ones to really help guide families. And, I'm not going to guide a family. So say I do an evaluation of a kid, her skills, and her family tells me they need a full ride in order to go to school, right? Her skills might say, hey, she's a mid-major kid playing wise, absolutely, but she's only going to get 30, 40%. So I'm not going to put that kid down that road if she needs a full ride, right? So then we alter her list of schools and where she's focused. I have other kids who say, hey, it doesn't matter. I just want my kid to be happy and we want to go to the top softball school we can. Awesome. Here's where we're going to look, here's what you're going to say in your emails to let them know these are your goals. So again, my process is, it gives all of the information that you need, but sometimes some families do need that specific guidance. Okay, another question on the side. I love these. May 2nd SAT has been canceled. Have you heard any updates on additional testing dates that might open up? I have not. I know the June test is still on right now. So what I've already told my kids is I guarantee that fills up. So sign up for the June exam as soon as possible. So I always suggest that my kids have already signed up. I've told them that on softballrecruiting.com. Okay, when they can't email you back, how do you get the answers about the things of which camps to attend? Awesome. So Abby, I'll let you answer this. This is a good one for you. So you are a sophomore, so last year. Schools cannot email you back. How do you know what camps you're going to attend?
I mean, if it's a school you really, really love, like I knew like Georgetown, even though they obviously couldn't email me back last year, like I knew I needed to get on their campus so I could introduce myself to them and like to actually build a relationship. And I guess it's really just like knowing kind of like what schools you think are realistic schools for you and what schools you would be happy at. So definitely set up your like realistic schools and go to like their camps first. And then if you have like reach schools or like other schools that you're like somewhat interested in, also go to those. I would really just recommend going to as many camps as you can for the school. Like I know Georgetown I think they have 2 camps every year, and I went to both of them every year, one in the fall and in the summer. But they're just really helpful for you as a player to get to know the campus and like see if you actually like the campus. And even going to meet the coaches and seeing if you like the coaches' style and like how they interact with their players, because oftentimes the players run the camps. So I definitely try to get to as many as possible and definitely hit your like dream school or like target schools first.
Yeah, so I always suggest kids go to camps and clinics, and I know people are asking, hey, are they worth it? Are they worth the time, money? What I always tell kids is if it's your number one school, yes, it's worth it. And Abby let me know from the get-go that Georgetown was her number one school. Like, she let me know the first time I met her, hey, Georgetown's my number one, and she actually missed a tournament to attend that Georgetown camp. But before she did that, this is the kicker in all these camps and clinics. Before she went to that camp, she had already built the relationship with the college coaches, and they knew her by name before she stepped on campus for that camp, right? So now she's in the right group, right? She's in the group of all the recruits and the committed kids. She's now having more talking points with the college coaches. And I have exactly what you have to do at camp, right? What you do before, during, and after in order to build the relationship, because this is the only time you can talk to the college coaches before September 1 of your junior year, right? So again, Abby went, how many, I always suggest like 5 or 6 a year, Abby, right?
Yeah, I
But-
definitely think I went to at least 5 or 6 camps and throughout the entire year. I'm pretty sure I went to at least 3 or 4 in the fall, and then anytime there was availability in the summer, because they don't usually have them in the spring because of obviously their season.
They're playing, yeah. So again, camps and clinics are huge because it can build on that relationship. They can work with you skill-wise. They can see if you're coachable. They get to know you more as a person before September 1. So if you can build upon that relationship before September 1, it gives you a leg up, beyond some of the other kids, that they're also recruiting in your class. Okay, so I got another question. Will the coronavirus pandemic affect the recruiting process for the 22 class? Absolutely, it already has. It's affected the 22s, but it's also affected the 20s and the 21s as well. So for the 22 class specifically, what I'm telling you is right now you have an opportunity of a lifetime. You have an opportunity to build a relationship with college coaches. You have time, right? So you have time to not only start the process and do the process the right way, but you also have time to build the relationship via social media. I mean, how cool is it, Abby, when a college coach follows you on social media, right?
That's the best feeling in the world.
Like, I get these texts from some of these kids that like, oh my gosh, the coach is following me. And it's like, yeah, duh, like that's what's supposed to happen, right? But it's just super cool for the families to really get, really see the process work out, and the college coaches start following the kids on social media. And they can follow you before September 1. And they're also allowed to like, I believe, but they can't comment. I'm not sure about the like. I'm like 99% sure they can like. But for the 22 class, you can start right now and build on that relationship, right? So you have the ability of time, and the college coaches have nothing to do right now but scroll through their phones, right? Because they don't really want to watch the news anymore. They kind of know what's going on with that. So, they know everybody's at home. So what are you doing planning wise? What are you doing to show that you're getting better softball wise? And again, if you have a plan, so all of the kids last week that emailed out their plan to the college coaches, I got some phone calls that were they were like, I cannot believe that this kid is so self-sufficient. I'm not going to have to worry about her when she does get to me, right? So again, you have an opportunity of a lifetime for the 22s right now to really get on the list. 21s, you're super behind. You need to start talking to coaches on the phone right now. If you're not talking to coaches on the phone right now, you gotta do something different, because I'm getting phone calls from college coaches right now, and I've probably only been on the phone with like 30 coaches in the past week, and what they're telling me is they're trying to find out if their juniors are going to stay another year, because if their juniors are going to stay another year, now they don't need that 21 they thought they needed, because now everybody gets an extra year, if that makes sense. So you need to start talking and getting on the phone with college coaches and finding out, okay, who needs a 21 in this spot? Who doesn't? What are they looking for? And hopefully your travel ball coaches, or you have somebody who knows some of these college coaches that can help guide you through this, and know what people want. I know for the people who are committed, which is in another talk, they have to stay on it too, because if they have juniors that are going to stay, that could affect money. We don't know if the NCAA is going to allow more money. So here's a scenario. The NCAA allows all of the colleges, whatever scholarship they were on this year, they get another year and they get the same amount of money, but so they can go over the 12. If you're going to a mid-major school, they probably don't have it in their budget to go over the 12, right? So now they're sticking with the 12 because budget and money-wise, they can't afford it. So it is going to affect the 21 class. So again, for 21s, you need to stay on top of it. You need to stay communicating with college coaches. And if you're emailing these college coaches, my 21s who aren't committed, if you're emailing these college coaches and keeping up with the process, you should get some feedback by your second or third email, whether they're interested or not. If they're not interested, trust me, they're going to want you to stop emailing. They're say, hey, sorry, we're done that class. Or if they're interested, they might have you start with a questionnaire. And then when you're done filling out the questionnaire, you say, hey, just finished with the questionnaire. Let me know if you need anything else. Then they're like, oh, she did it right away. Let me ask for a phone call. So they want to see you go through the process and be doing the right things. Okay, next question. Do you recommend do you recommend monitoring on emails if you have a 3-sport athlete? Mentioning on emails if you have a 3-sport athlete. I love athletes that play other sports. I know a lot of the college coaches do. It's kind of, just the philosophy of the college coach. Go ahead and mention it. I post things with basketball. I post things with, I don't know, give me another sport. I know kids that play volleyball, mention it. They love athletes, and they love that you're not only working on whatever sport you're working on, but also, having the capability of playing softball as well. So again, you can definitely mention that you are a 3-sport athlete. Just keep the emails short. I see so many emails that are these long life stories, and the college coaches don't read them. They don't have time. They would watch the video and decide whether or not to read 2 sentences, maybe 3 at max, right? It's because you have to keep their interest. Is there still a chance of getting recruited if you are a 21 for a D3 school? Yes. So 21s, I'm not trying to scare you into saying that it's not possible to get recruited right now, because it definitely is. Because there will be coaching changes not only this summer, but next summer. I know Ole Miss and Cal have already opened up, which will prompt 2 coaches to leave, which will prompt 2 more coaches to leave, and it'll start, the snowball will start with college coaches. And once coaches leave, kids start decommitting, and then the whole switcheroo happens. So there are still chances for college coaches, for 21s to be committed. Absolutely. It's building the relationship with college coaches, because you don't know where that college coach is going to be even in 2 or 3 months, even if you build a relationship with an assistant coach. If you look, assistant coaches usually only last 2 to 3 years unless you're at a really big school where they're really getting paid a lot of money. So again, be building the relationship with the college coaches. So a 21 at a D3 school, absolutely. I think it's possible for a D2, even a D1. You're not too late. You're late. I'm not going to lie. A 21 is late to the ball game, but you're not too late to get recruited. Okay, if you're a multi-sport athlete, does this increase your chances of being recruited? I would say it depends on the college coach. We love multi-sport athletes, but that wasn't an end-all be-all when I was at the University of Delaware. We took a kid who only played softball because she was really good. We took a kid who played field hockey and softball. I mean, it did not matter to us either way, but having an athlete who had speed definitely helped. Okay, for phone calls, if I'm a 21 who has been emailing with a lot of schools, should I call them or ask them to set up a call? Ask them to set up a call. So if I were you, I would ask them to set up a call, especially if you've been emailing back and forth with them. So for my 21s, I would definitely tell you to start setting up phone calls to build a relationship over the phone. It means a lot, and I know you're scared. So Abby, let's talk about your first phone call with a college coach.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit nerve-wracking because obviously you don't want to say the wrong thing. But I mean, it really just helps you get to know the coach as well. I guess the first phone call I had with Georgetown was obviously on September 1st because that's when they open up the contacts period. And it was really just the coach saying hey, we're interested. It wasn't really a whole long thing. I don't know if I'm weird, but it wasn't really a whole long conversation. It was kind of just letting them know oh, hey, we're interested in you. Just want to keep doing what you're doing basically. And because Georgetown's a high academic school, they mostly focused on like my transcripts and everything. So they were kind of just worried more about like the academics than softball because they had seen me play throughout the summer.
Yeah, and what's the one thing they said about recruiting? Didn't they say something that was really cool about you recruiting them?
Oh yeah. So they had said they were like, you did a great job recruiting us. Now like you get to sit back and let us recruit you because we're really interested. And that was a pretty cool thing to hear because knowing that like all the emails, even though I had obviously gotten a response back, it was cool that they were actually reading them, like knowing they're actually reading them and like getting the affirmation that like I did well at it. So that was a really cool thing to hear.
Yeah, they are reading your emails. They are getting them. Again, that subject line is huge in them, but I break all that down for you at softballrecruiting.com. I mean, yes, it's a lot, but it's worth it in the end. I promise you, as long as you go through it the right way. All right, so those are all the questions that I have on the side. Does anybody want to, you can unmute yourself and ask a question if anybody has a question for Abby or I. We are here to help. Anybody? No questions?
Okay, I will if nobody else does.
See, don't be shy. That's why we're here.
Okay, so do you think it's more important for your travel team to be successful or for the camps that you go to on your own?
Oh, Abby.
I mean, like, it obviously helps if your travel team is successful because, like, that'll get, obviously, coaches to come watch you. But I feel like, especially for Georgetown, like, the majority of my recruiting happened on the camps because, like, that's when you really get to, like, interact with them. But I definitely think that both pieces, like, I definitely think, like, a good team will help you being on the campus because then they'll know the name, like, on your chest. Like, you know, they'll know your team. So, like, and plus, if you have, like, a strong team that's winning, it'll help other teammates, like, get looks maybe from a school that they didn't know was interested in them and, like, became interested in them because they were doing well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely think, like, if you're doing the process, it will help in the long run. Definitely coaches they want kids who are doing the process. That is the biggest thing that I hope I'm getting across is that coaches want kids who are doing the process step by step and emailing them and showing them that you're in love with their school because they get tons of one-time or two-time emails, right? But as a college coach, I want kids who are in love with my school and investing in us, right? Because then we're going to take the time and go back and invest in these kids. Because if it's just, you know, if we got no shot at this kid, why am I going to go out and watch them play? So again, it's the investment piece and doing the process and building the relationship.
Coach Rachel, as a parent, I just have a question. So what do you do if your school your high school, I mean, is kind of giving you a little bit of grief over missing a half a day here to attend these camps, right? So like we're looking at, you know, some, not tons of places, but some that are like 4 or 5 hours away. And sometimes we need to miss half a day or a Friday school to get to where we need to be. So how do we deal with that when they're giving us kind of, I don't know what the right word is, attitude, grief, whatever, about missing school? I mean, I understand. I mean, you know, we're taking high level academics and we're missing class basically. And so even though when we bring a letter back that says, oh, we were here, we're still tending to get a little bit of like pushback, you know, like, so how would you say we would deal with that?
Yeah, and I know Abby goes to a really high academic school where this is not allowed. But what I tell kids and families is you just bite the bullet. Say you're going on a campus visit, right? So we're going to see colleges. I'm going on a campus visit. I'm not going, you know, somewhere where I'm just going on vacation with my family. I'm going to figure out what school I want to go to. And if you come back with a letter, what can they really say if you're going on a school visit? But ultimately, when you get to college, you can explain this to them. My kids at the University of Delaware, some of them missed 20 classes in one class that semester because of our travel, right? So the kids had to learn how to balance the academics and the athletics while they were at the University of Delaware because they were missing 20 bio classes, right? Because we were gone. It was a Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. And we would leave Wednesdays and come back, Sunday night. So again, some of them were missing 20 classes and throughout the semester, and they have to learn how to balance that. I had a guidance counselor when I was getting recruited tell me I didn't need to sign up for the NCAA clearinghouse. And for all of you, you need to sign up now if you have not signed up for the clearinghouse, because that gives you the ID and allows you to go on your official visits when you become September 1 your junior year. But had told me I didn't need to sign up for the clearinghouse. My mom literally went into that office and let them know they were signing me up for the clearinghouse. Because I mean, it's super important to the process to make sure I'm on track so I can go to Division I, or 2 or 3. It's the NCAA. The clearinghouse is for all 3. So you need to make sure y'all are signing up for the clearinghouse as well. But I would just sit down in the office and be like, look, this is why we're doing it. This is what we're doing. I'm not doing it to miss school. She's going to have to learn how to do this anyway. And you know what? We're going to turn in all the work before we leave.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's basically what, when possible, we've asked for the work ahead of time. Very few of them will do that. But when possible, we've gotten that. Here in New Jersey, they're 12 absences and you, in theory, fail the class, so, it's just a little bit of a concern when they're being so, I'm going to, not nice word right there. And, against it, it just becomes a little bit of like, you're kind of caught, you want to go do this stuff, you want to get there, you want to do, but you're not quite sure where it's going to go and how far they're going to push that issue with you down the road, so was more my question, thank you.
Yes. Abby, how did you handle it? Because Abby goes to a very, one of the highest academic schools in the country. So how did you handle it?
Yeah, so the way I handled it was kind of just saying you're going on campus tours, because you really are going to visit the campus. And I got pretty lucky because my teachers kind of understood it, because they obviously have a lot of kids that are going to on campus tours. And I really just think the being upfront with them about it made it that much easier, because then you're not then it's like what Rachel said, you're not going on vacation somewhere. They know you're going to see a school, which you really are, because the camps and clinics and that kind of thing really help you see the school for what it is. And I mean, at some point you kind of just have to not listen to what they're saying if they are saying not nice things about it, because at the end of the day, it's really just going to benefit you if you focus on getting to the camps and stuff, because it really does come with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So I got some more questions on the side. Thank you guys for putting them up. So the question is it okay to mention in the email if, ask the question, are the coaches actively recruiting you? If you're a 23 or a 22, I always say no. It is your coach's job to get that kind of information and pull that information when schools are coming out to see you. And you'll know, because you'll see college coaches sitting behind the backstop. And if they keep coming back, they're obviously they have interest in you. And what's amazing is not just when you're doing the process. So I know I have a couple of teams on here, but when you're doing the process and your entire team is doing the process. So Abby plays for my team, and our entire team is on softballrecruiting.com, and that's where they get all the information, because I don't have time to be giving it out 3 different ways to 10 different people. So when your entire team is doing the process the right way, it's amazing how many college coaches are behind the backstop. So for example, Team New Jersey this year, we were on the fields that were 2 miles away from the main complex. And we had over 20 college coaches at every single one of our games, because each kid pulled 2 or 3 coaches, right? So now Abby pulls 2 coaches, Izzy pulls 2 coaches. So everybody on the team pulls 2 coaches, and Abby hits 2 home runs. Now Abby, instead of having the 2 schools that are just there for her, how many schools have just watched that and now have interest in Abby? And that goes along with everybody. So this process isn't just for you. If you can get your entire team on board, that is really when things start to take off. Abby, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was cool when we were in Atlanta over the summer, and just to see the coaches that were either just walking by and maybe someone on our team had emailed them and then they came to watch over, and if they're if a coach is talking to another coach, then they bring the other coach with them to the field. So it was really helpful, because after every game, or if there was a delay or change or something, we would all sit down in our hotel and everyone would send an email. So you knew your teammates were holding each other accountable and holding yourselves accountable. And just to see the results of it, of having like everyone do their job and have like so many coaches show up, it was really cool, because I got a lot of interest from schools that I wasn't really interested in until like my other teammates were interested in, and then yeah, it like kind of like formed a connection. So it was cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all helping each other out. So the process is great if, you know, you're doing it. Absolutely. You might pull 2 or 3 coaches, but when your entire team is doing this process, you just watch it take off. And like the amount of coaches that start coming to the games and following your team is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't, pull your teammates into it, hold them accountable, bring them into it. But again, answering the question, is it okay to ask if a coach is actively recruiting you? I would say no, in whether you're 22, 23, 21. If you're 21, ask for a phone call. 22s and 23s, it's your job to kind of go find that information out. For example, we have a 22 who's a catcher and went to the Tennessee camp, and they had committed a 21 catcher, right? So this kid's a 22. She commits to, or she's not committed, obviously. She has interest in Tennessee, and they commit a 21 catcher. She went up to the coaches and asked, hey, I see that you guys just committed a 21 catcher. Are you guys still actively recruiting a 22 catcher? She went up and asked the question to the coaches. Not only does this show that, hey, this kid has the maturity, but it also shows, hey, you know, she's got the maturity to ask these questions and she's not afraid. And if they were saying, no, we're not going to actively recruit a 22 catcher, she knows to cross that school off and add another school to her list. So again, there's different ways where you can pull that information. When as a travel ball coach, I try and go get that information for myself when the college coaches are back there. You won't see me, if you've played my team, you won't see me usually on the field or calling pitches. I'm usually just back there with the college coaches mingling, trying to get information for my kids. And I literally text or tell the parents right away, because the information is just like so much that I just boom, 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 like in and out, what's next, what's next. So I would not ask those questions via email. Okay, is weighted or unweighted GPA more important? So for all of you that don't know, some schools, when you apply, they don't take that weighted GPA. They take the unweighted, and they only take your core courses. When I was at Delaware, we had a kid that had a 3.5 that actually went down to a 2.8 because we took out her gyms, her arts, and all of those other courses. So again, what is your GPA for just your core courses? And if you're taking an AP or an honors course, make sure you get an A outright, because you don't know the school that you're applying to, whether or not they're going to take the weighted or unweighted. So I always tell kids, if you're going to take those higher academic courses, make sure you're getting an A outright. Okay, sorry, trying to get through these. Weighted or unweighted. My GPA is a 3.85, and I'm retaking the SAT. Does the recruiting process change if I'm able to get an academic scholarship? And would I be able to get playing time versus, okay. So they're asking, would I be able to get playing time versus a fellow player that came in just as an athlete? College coaches don't care. They want to win. They have to win. So we had a kid that was out there that was a walk-on and a full ride kid on the bench. It did not matter. What matters to the college coaches is winning, because if they don't win, they get fired. So again, it doesn't matter if you're a walk-on, full ride kid, you know, only getting partial scholarship. The college coaches have to win to keep their jobs. So again, it doesn't matter for that. Okay, if you're going to a showcase but can't find the list of schools attending, how do you know what schools to email? Oh, Abby, you answer this, because when you came to me, that was one of your questions.
Wait, sorry, what was the question again? I didn't hear you.
Sorry. Okay, you're going to a showcase,
mm-hmm.
but you can't find the list of schools that are attending that showcase. How do you know which schools to email?
Just email everyone. That's kind of what I did. That was one of the big questions we had. Like, you don't really know who to email, but you want to email your entire target list almost every time there's a showcase or a tournament, just in case they have, like, maybe, like, plans could change. So, like, they could think they're going to the tournament, but end up going to the tournament that you're at instead. If you email everyone, there's like a higher chance that some of the coaches that you want to be there will actually come and watch you play. So there really is no harm in sending out your emails to like all of your schools, because even if they don't make it physically to the tournament, if you have a way to like stream the games or something like on Facebook Live like we do, then they can at least like watch you via Facebook Live. And also they like, if you send your schedules, they know when you're playing, like who you're playing, like the type of competition you're seeing, and just it's really good to just email everyone because you never know like what might happen.
Yeah, so I always tell kids email everybody on your target list because again, you're building that relationship and showing interest. It doesn't matter if they're coming to the tournament or not. Always email everybody on your target list. Okay, when do schools or coaches start to, sorry, I turned my texting off. Okay, when do schools or coaches start to look at your Colorado versus California or Arizona that have softball in high school during the spring and not for only 6 weeks in the fall? Okay. So when do college coaches, I'm assuming, sorry, Izzy, I'm assuming that you're asking when do schools and coaches start looking at you recruiting wise? I always tell kids to start the recruiting process freshman year because now you have 2 years worth of relationship built with them versus if you just start your sophomore year or your junior year, it builds more of a relationship with the coaches. So I always tell kids to start freshman year. That's not saying for the 22s or 21s on here that you can't start building that relationship now. It's actually a great time to start building that relationship. But again, I always tell kids that you should be emailing throughout the entire year. If you're one of those kids who are just emailing during the summer and just emailing during the fall, then you're probably missing the boat because so in December and January, February, when you're not playing, you could be continuing to build the relationship with college coaches. In August, continuing to build the relationship with the college coaches and show interest. So that's why also I created the monthly lesson. So what the monthly lesson does on softballrecruiting.com is every single month, I tell you exactly when to be emailing the college coaches and what to be emailing them and what to be sending them video-wise. So if you're in the month of January and you have absolutely nothing going on, you should still be emailing them twice that month and sending these videos because this is what they're looking for in the process. Here's where the college coaches' minds are. So again, it's not just emailing the coaches, hey, come see me play, hey, come see my team play, when, you know, giving them your schedule. It's continuing to email them the entire year. So if you're the kid who's emailing, you know, right now, I don't know, 8 to 10 times a year, imagine the kid, you know, that's emailing them 30 times a year, right? Now, there is a such thing as over emailing. You do not want to over email and get crossed off and just put in the trash. I did have some kids when I was at Dellard that would just email every single week, and it was like monotonous, and I threw in the trash whenever I saw the name. I didn't even look at it. But that's what I do is I break down exactly what you should be sending and when you should be sending it. This way, there isn't like a lull or a break. The college coaches remember who you are. Okay. What will happen if the summer travel ball season is canceled? Have the college coaches said how they will recruit for the 21? So let's start with if the summer travel ball season is canceled. If for some reason this is canceled, again, what are you doing to get yourself ahead of the curve? We can't control whether or not the travel ball season is going to happen, but what we can do right now is start building the relationships with the college coaches, not only via email, but via social media and all other kinds of platforms for the 22s and 23s. So again, what can you do to get yourself above and beyond everybody else? Because you're not gonna be the only 22s and 23s who aren't playing this summer. Everybody's in the same boat. So again, the recruiting will change a little bit in the college coaches' eyes. But again, it's my job to stay up to date and figure out what they're doing and then give it to all the information that I receive to softballrecruiting.com to put you in the best situation possible to succeed in the recruiting process. And as we know, it's changing every single day. So again, make sure that, you know, you're going to be in the same boat as everybody else. Does somebody have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry. May I ask how when it comes to the phone calls, should those be done once a week as well? Are those spread out further? What guidance can you give from like a how often perspective on that?
For the 21s?
Yes.
Abby, answer.
I don't really call my coach super often. If I have her phone number, so I text her more than I would call her. I think I called my coach my coach called me on September 1st, then a week before I got my offer, and then when I got my offer, and I'm talking to her this week about like what I should be doing during this time and everything. But I don't really call my coach as often as I text her. I text her a lot more because they're a lot easier, and I feel like phone calls take up like a little bit more time, and they're usually, you want to set them up, whereas a text you could just like set up whenever you need to.
Yeah, and then for the 21s who aren't committed, ask the coach. So when you're on the phone with them, hey, how often do you want to talk on the phone? You know, how often? So don't be afraid to ask those questions to the coach, because each coach wants something different, I'm sure. So some coaches want to talk once a week about your progress. What are you doing? What are you working on? And some coaches are like, hey, I like text better. So I know when I was at Delaware, I did everything texting wise. John, the head coach, wanted everything email wise. Sammy wanted everything both. So when people committed, I was in charge of the recruits and the commits. So I would tell them, hey, text me, email John, do both to Sammy, right? I would physically tell them how to communicate with us because we each wanted something different. But getting on the phone with them initially has got to be the start of the process for the 21s, because if a college coach is willing to get on the phone with you, that's when you know they're interested.
Okay, and with that, may I pull at that string a little bit, if it's okay? Let's say you 21 does ask a coach if they could have a conversation and the coach agrees. How can you provide any guidance on how that conversation should get started for the student athlete?
Yeah, so they need to be doing their homework, following the team on social media, the coaches on social media, reading the coaches' bios, reading the bios of the kids that are there. Where are they from? What are they studying? So doing your homework, now you have a ton of information, and come up with 2 academic questions, 2 softball questions, and the conversation will flow out naturally.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Okay. So if we don't play, I'm a 21 player, if we don't play because of Corona, is it possible to get noticed by schools? Yes, you need to be doing the process, building the relationship with the college coaches via email, via video. As a junior, I am a year ahead because my class is taken, I can graduate a year early. Would the recruiting process change if I graduate a year early? We actually had a kid who was going to graduate a year early. It actually is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. She plays for Clemson now, and she graduated a year early. Oh God, I'm blanking. She's their big hitter. She's got a ton of home runs and a pitcher. I just posted her the other day. Why am I blanking, Abby? Usually I'm good at this. But she did graduate a year early. We had another kid who graduated a year earlier at Delaware, and it was a disaster because she wasn't ready mentally and emotionally. So again, I would, ask some people around you, are you ready mentally and emotionally? If you're not ready to graduate this year and don't have that scholarship, you can go to a community college and don't take a full course load. And then now you can, if you don't take a full course load, now you still get your 4 years when you do move on to another school. So there are options there. And if you want to set up something private, Izzy, I can explain all that further in detail with you. But there are some options available. If recruitment does not come until later in the year of your senior year, what happens if a school that is interested in you and what for your team? How can you apply? Oh, how can you apply if deadlines have passed? I'm sorry, you're fine. I got you. So you recruited your senior year, deadlines have passed to get you into the school, but you've been recruited. I always say make sure you get into a school before the deadlines, and then if deadlines have passed, college coaches have ways to get kids in. I got kids in, then deadlines had passed when I was at Delaware. The athletic programs have ways around that. Okay, any other questions? Those are the ones on the side that I got. Any other questions? Feel free.
I just have a quick question on something I was confused on. So on my NCAA number, I've registered and sent out letters and everything, and then it shows a pending status. How does that remove from pending? Because I have everything on online and everything. It says pending while I'm still sending like emails to coaches and stuff like that.
I would talk to your guidance counselor about that.
Okay.
Why it is pending, and then I would also call the clearinghouse as well to get that cleared up and ask why.
Okay, thank you so much.
Anybody else? Questions? That's why we're here. Everybody's stuck at home. No more questions? Any questions? Come on, step up, guys. I know you guys have questions. We're gonna have to talk to college coaches, right, Abby? Step up.
Yeah.
Step up and ask those questions. Anybody else before we get off here? No? All right, so thank you guys for coming. If we don't have any other questions, you guys can reach me at softballrecruiting.com. I have put in the chat exactly how to, I know some of you were asking privately how to, oh, I just sent it privately to Izzy. I have put in the chat how to sign up for a one-on-one session with me. They are 75% off right now. It's already been discounted online. It's a recruiting session, and we can come up with an individual plan if you're looking for one. I also have, for all of you, use the code SPRINGBREAK on softballrecruiting.com, and everything will be 40% off for you. So if you're looking to get started in this process, go to the starter pack. So the starter pack is going to walk you through how to create that target list of schools and what it should look like. It's going to break down how to send that first email, what it should look like, what your subject should be, what your signature should be, what to include. Because college coaches don't click on those links to go to another profile to get more information because it's too many steps. So I break down exactly what that should look like to get noticed by the college coaches. Your video, same thing, and I give examples, social media, academics. So I break down everything step by step in the starter pack for you on softballrecruiting.com, and that's 40% off right now. And then if you've already been started in the process, and you know you're just looking what to do month to month, especially right now, I'm updating every single week what you should be sending out. You know, go to the month to month and sign up for that, and you will get 40% off as well using coupon code SPRINGBREAK, no spaces. If you have any other questions, you can reach me at the bottom. I answer those questions as quick as I possibly can. I get them via email every day, and now that I'm in my office all day, I tend to answer them quickly. I try. Abby, I try.
Yeah, do that.
The one-on-one sessions I put in there as well. It's my Calendly link. So if I don't have any other questions, I hope you guys enjoy and get started with the process. Where do you suggest keeping the videos? YouTube? No, because the kid gets better. And if I see a YouTube video that the skills are just I'm deleting her off the list. So you need to be sending them just in the emails. Right, Abby, take your YouTube videos down. Take them down. If they're not good videos, you're going to get yourself crossed off. Like, video is going to get you on the list or off the list. So I told everybody, take your YouTube videos down unless they're approved by somebody who knows what they're looking for. I can usually tell within one swing and one pitch if I have interest in a kid. So like that's how the college coaches are. They see so much video a day. It's like one swing, one pitch. I know whether or not I want to go see them. Any other questions? Nothing? All right, guys. Enjoy. Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy, everybody. Have a great day. See y'all soon. Yep, see ya. Bye, Abby. Thank you.
Bye, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Yep, see ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.